move everything in, and that time I did move everything in, and I actually lost a couple Overlords. So that was a bit of a bad play right there. And I've got to say, these Vikings have been really annoying. I probably lost like maybe 10 Overlords right now. And I actually, at this point, I think I started splitting my Hydra forces and leaving some at every single base, because the Queen against 3 Vikings, the Queen takes forever to kill him, and so the Vikings can do a lot of damage. Meanwhile, I do have a pretty large Zergling Hydra force kind of just chilling in front of the natural, and I was expecting to see an expansion, and this was really kind of baffling me, because usually by this point in the game, if the Terran player doesn't get an Expo, well, I'm just gonna, you know, the best strategy is just go expand like crazy and eventually overrun that wall.
Yeah, and pretty much at this point, it's where your macro really starts to pass mine. I was sitting at 100 there for a while. I'm actually supply blocked, because that's just how I roll. I always forget to make supply depots with the Terran, and so that's why I'm actually moving out right now, is because I got way supply blocked. But really, if I would have pushed out probably about a minute and a half earlier, then there wouldn't be such a discrepancy here between the forces. But I think that this is where your third base is really starting to kick in, and you have quite a scary force, and you are way ahead in supply. So that was definitely a mistake on my part. But I do have siege tanks, which are fairly strong against just about everything the Zerg has, if you can get some good splash damage. And so that's kind of what I was thinking. That was my plan, was to move out, try and get my siege tanks in a comfortable spot, and then protect them with the Marine Marauder army that I have. And unfortunately, since I was getting so many Vikings, I even am making 2 more right now. They aren't nearly enough. And then I was like, wait, what are these Overlords doing over here? So I stim up, because I thought what it was going to be a Doom drop. Not that you ever see that, because you can just use the Nidus Worms. But I did stim up, so I did weaken my army. I thought I was killing the majority of your army, but evidently it was just a bunch of random Overlords.
Yeah, I actually started grouping all my Overlords together. Now look at this. I actually have my Infestors burrowed, popped them out, and used Fungal Growth. And look at that, your Marines die from the Fungal Growth even. The Fungal Growth only does 36 damage over 8 seconds, but it does prevent them from moving, and so that your force has been majorly softened up at this point. And so I'm just going to move in with my Hydras. I don't even care about the tanks, because the infantry has been softened up and demolished, and your entire army gets pretty much destroyed there. So one thing I do want to suggest to people who play Zerg versus Terran is get that infestation pit, because you're almost always going to face infantry. And basically you research burrow at the hive, and you research the ability for infestors to burrow underground at the infestation pit. You keep them with your army and keep them on a separate hotkey. And then when the battle occurs, just pop them out of the ground and cast Fungal Growth on those infantry and watch them die.
And now I see you finally found my base. My Orbital Command Center, or not, my Planetary Fortress rather, does have a couple of kills, and I'm hoping I can use these SCVs to kill this endless stream of Hydralisks. Unfortunately for me, the Orbital Command, or the Planetary Fortress, I always call it Orbital Command, is not good enough here. I mean, it does kill the Hydralisks fairly quickly, I think in about 3 shots once you have the armor upgrade. But now you're pooping creep all over the place just to add insult to injury, and there goes my only expansion. So now I am moving out with the few remaining forces I have, but at this point your supply is double mine, and so I knew at this point I had to try and make something happen. So I do see you take the high yield. Don't want that to happen, because I'm already falling behind in the macro, but you are already actually getting another base as well. And so your army is pretty healthy, and it is going to be up to me right now to try and make something happen. Do note I am forced to long distance mine, because I did lose my only other defense.
I'm actually looking at the income tab right now, and it's 57 minerals to 1,000. And so it doesn't look too good for the human Terrans here. And I am popping out a couple more Infestors, because, Infestors are great, like I've already preached about. And the reason why I don't think I got to talk about this enough. The reason why I have my Overlords grouped up with my Hydra army is, there's 2 reasons. One is because they were dying from your Vikings. And number 2 is because they do have the ability to poop creep, which I just leave on autocast. And so when the battle occurs and the Overlords stop moving, my Hydras get a speed bonus. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of players don't realize you can actually put it on autocast, and so every time, like you just said, anytime they stop, you're just going to be dumping creep all over the place. There's absolutely no reason not to do that. Anyways, I am trying to move out here, and what the plan was to get the high ground and hope you didn't have your Overlords over here to give you vision. But of course you do, and there's the Infestor just throwing off the new Plague Goo all over my units. And as if you weren't going to win that battle decisively enough, now you definitely are. But it is good to see players use the Infestors, as they're just kind of the new Defiler, and they're big and goofy looking. He even burrowed it right there to keep him a little bit safe while he's moving around. And at this point, the Command Center just now started for me at that natural. I don't know if you caught a glimpse of it earlier, probably not, but I thought that it was building this whole time, but my SCVs were in the way, and then the SCV I had making it just decided to give up and not even try. Not that it would even matter though, but thankfully for me, I do have siege tanks at least over here, gonna be able to do quite a bit of splash damage to the Hydras. Siege tanks are very good at, well, if you can protect them enough, the AI in the siege tank is very strong. So that's why you're actually suffering any losses whatsoever at the hands of only a couple of siege tanks. And I made a pretty sweet med back here, even though I don't have a single infantry unit. No, wait, I have one Marauder, so he gets his own little dropship there to heal him. But I think that the Command Center, yeah, I can't even afford another Command Center. So at this point, I definitely think you're in the lead here.
I actually was trying to, maybe I could have just walked up that ramp, but I was actually trying to use the Infestor to mind control a siege tank. The Infestors do have the ability to mind control, and it lasts permanently now after a new patch, as long as they stay close to the Infestor. It's pretty cool, and oh crap, I hit the jump button. So I don't know where I'm at right now, but I'm going to go back to, what time are you at, Husky?
I'm at 22 right now.
Alright, let's speed up to 22. Pause for me while I speed up.
I stopped at 22:08.
22:08, and we're just kind of watching everything go in fast motion here as the forces are colliding up to 12 o'clock, and my Infestors do the little play goo. And I'm almost at 22. I'm at 21 right now. I do apologize for that, the audience, but sometimes stuff like that happens.
They can just relive me getting owned. It's okay.
22:08 right now.
Alright, I started mine.
Alright.
Down.
Yep.
Alright, so yeah, my Command Center is now done, and... Oh no, that's the old Command Center. He's been around this whole time. And so now my income's flying up to 200 minerals compared to your almost 1,600. So I think we all know what the inevitable thing is going to happen. But I'm still hanging in, man, because I'm not a quitter until it's over.
Yeah, and at this point I do have like 4 bases to Huskies 2, which is kind of just overpowering and disgusting, really. And I do have a really large Hydra force, but I was really getting mad about those siege tanks being behind that wall. It just makes them so strong. So I decided, hey, I'm going to get some Broodlords, which is pretty much the ultimate counter to siege tanks. So I'm just kind of waiting for my Greater Spire to finish. There it goes, plopping out of the morph mode, and I'm going to get some Broodlords and then pretty much try to overrun your base with Broodlords and Hydras. And I'm looking at the APM tab now because, I don't know, I like to look at APM. 167 to 105, and no surprise really because you are playing your off race.
Well, and also I haven't had anything for about the last 10 minutes, so I figured, I'm just going to click around here. But yeah, you did mention the Broodlords being a good counter to siege tanks. That is true. Pretty much they're a good counter to just about everything the Terran has, as it really messes with the AI when they start shooting those Broodlings. And especially if you click on one of the Broodlords, 275 HP with 2 armor. So you really got to be prepared for these when you're getting attacked right now. And look at this, the Broodlings on the buildings, the splash damage from the siege tanks are just killing my buildings that much faster, because that is another benefit of having a unit that shoots other units. And so, yeah, I was saying, get Zerg more IMO, because this was supposed to be random versus random. And here comes the Doom army right now. And yeah, so I think I ended up getting Protoss, Zerg, and Terran in our best of 3, while HD got Zerg every single time. So that's okay, I'm not mad, I just have to get my revenge another day.
Yeah, well, that was a pretty good game, and of course, we have played several games before. This is just the first set we're casting, but the reason why Husky did say 8 was because we played a couple when the beta first started. So yeah, that is going to be 2-1 so far, and look forward to more Husky versus HD games to come.
And yes, I did check the replays before this one of all of our games played that we do random versus random, and you have gotten Zerg 6 times. And so I gotta roll the dice and hope that he gets Terran more, because I'm confident against your Terran. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. And yeah, if you guys have any questions or suggestions, let us know.